Okay, so we were discussing about Kubernetes. Okay, so I am again setting, because in the last class I have set up the Kubernetes cluster, but again I am setting up the Kubernetes cluster with the help of. Last time we have set up the Kubernetes cluster with the help of kubeadm. Okay, this time we will set up the cluster with the help of minikube. Okay, so you can spin the cluster in many ways. Okay, so this is the repo. I will share it with you, and here in the repo, if you go through it, there is a option of minikube. Okay, I will speak again and again. Okay, but if you have any confusion, you can ask after the completion of concept, after 15 or 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, this is the minikube installation. Click over here. So these are the prerequisites you need to follow. First of all, you need to spin up the EC2 machine, where you will spin the Kubernetes cluster. So here I will launch an instance here. Kubernetes. Ubuntu. हाँ, केक नहीं लाए, भूल गया. Yes, Kavya. Do you have any question?
Yeah, what is this mini cube? I
Okay.
missed it, I guess.
Okay. So we have EKS, right? Amazon service. It's a Amazon Kubernetes service. Okay. We have kubeadm. This is open source, and we have minikube. Okay, this is also to spin. It's a utility to spin up the cluster. Okay, you can create the EKS cluster, you can QADM cluster, you can create minikube, any one of fine for testing purpose. Okay, after the minikube, last time we have discussed how to spin up the cluster with the QADM, but now I will create a Kubernetes cluster with the help of minikube, and after this one I will create a cluster of EKS. This is the AWS service, Elastic Kubernetes service. Clear, Kavya? This is just a utility tool to create the
Yes.
cluster.
Yes, Anshul,
There are
thank you.
many ways to create the cluster. Like we have a GCP, we have Azure, we have AWS. Okay, the same way to spin up the Kubernetes, we have EKS or kubeadm, Minikube, any one of fine. And it will require a high configuration. It's a higher configuration. Keep here. I have this one, and security group I have already there. This one, launching the instance. Last time I spin up the cluster with kubeadm. Now I am spinning up the cluster with the help of minikube tool. After this one I will create the cluster with the help of EKS tool. This is the very common useful service, AWS service. There are many ways. If your company is using the AWS service, AWS cloud, then most probably they will use the EKS. Higher chances are there. If your company is not using any cloud, so higher chances they are using the QVDM. If your company has very small infra, very small infra, I think they will use Minikube for the cost cutting purpose. Okay, but if your company is using the AWS cloud, they might be using EKS. This is open source. This is having the higher you can do customization lot of things, but it is a AWS managed service. Any tool is fine as per your requirement, right? Like some company is using AWS, some company is using GCP, some company is using Azure, as per their choice. Same way here, it's a choice. You will use EKS, you will use QVDM, you will use Minikube. It totally up to you. Anyone are fine, but so I have launched an etc EC2 machine here, right? So what I will do, I will just follow documentation. I have already validated this is working fine, because every time they are just doing some modification, patching and all. Some command might not be working, but I have validated this one. So this documentation is correct. You can follow the steps. First of all, what I am doing, I am just updating the packages here. apt update, it will update the package. Next, I will install sudo app install. I will install curl, wget command, apt transport https. These software I will install here. Paste here. After this one, what I will do, I will install the Docker. Without Docker, Kubernetes will not work, because this is a runtime engine. It will install Docker in your machine. Guys, if I'm uh, speaking very fastly and you have any confusion, you can raise your query, right? Correct, you can raise your query. So I install the Docker here. Just I am following documentation. Now I will start systemctl enable Docker. I hope you will be aware. It will start the Docker service, right? If you want to check Docker, yes, permission denied. Okay, it is working fine, right? Now what I will do, add current user to the group. So this is my user. Okay, add that user. It will add into a Docker group. Okay, what is the user? User is Ubuntu. Ubuntu don't have permission, right? You can see Ubuntu cannot run Docker ps, right? If I'm using a sudo, then I am able to work, because Ubuntu user don't have permission to work on Docker. So I will give Ubuntu to use Docker. So this is the command. Ubuntu user can access Docker commands. If you use Docker ps, it will work, right? Now Ubuntu has permission. Now what I will do, I will install the Minikube. This is the Minikube architecture releases download. Just copy and paste here. It will download. It will download the Minikube package. Now again, I will give execute permission, and then I will move Minikube package to the bin directory. So then it will able to execute the Minikube command. कोई भी कंफ्यूजन हो गाइस पूछ लेना. मैं थोड़ा स्पीड से आ रहा हूँ, समझ नहीं आ रहा तो पूछ लेना. ओके. So I download the minikube package, then I give the permission, executable permission, then I move to the minikube to the bin folder. Straightforward. Then install the kubectl command. Executable, then give the executable permission and move to the kubectl to the bin folder. Now what I will do, I will start the minikube. Minikube start, this is a command to start the minikube cluster. It is creating the Kubernetes cluster with the help of minikube tool. It is just like you can consider like AWS, Azure, GCP. You have multiple tools, multiple technologies. Same way here we have a minikube tool, we have kubeadm, we have EKS, और GCP का भी होता है GKS होता है, ऐसी कुछ होता है नाम. Azure का भी एक Kubernetes cluster होता है AKS, Azure Kubernetes Service. This is just like a tool, right? With the help of you can create the cluster. So minikube एक tool है जिससे मैं क्लस्टर क्रिएट कर रहा हूँ. Kubernetes का what is the version of Kubernetes? 1.28.3. Downloading this version.
Till it is downloading, I have one question. Minikube start driver equal to Docker you have given, right? So you can give any of these. What is it called?
नहीं नहीं, डॉकर ड्राइवर क्या होगा, इसके बेसलाइन क्या होगा, बेसलाइन तो it will be the docker, right? Because the Kubernetes base technology क्या होती है, virtualization. In virtualization technology we are using docker here, so driver is docker here, that's why.
Yeah, container runtime, right?
Container
It
runtime
is
gen.
okay. So we can give whatever container runtime we
Yes,
want as
yes,
a.
yes, yes, yes. Okay, so mini go start, and now kubectl get nodes to check, right? It is done. So we have created the cluster. Kubectl get pods -n cube what क्या नाम होता है, cube default नहीं, kubectl get और इसमें आ जाएगा, ठीक है. हाँ सॉरी, क्यूब सिस्टम, kubectl get, मैं बताऊंगा what is the क्यूब सिस्टम, ठीक है. ये हो गया आपका. So this is the component of Kubernetes which I explained in. This is the architecture, right? So first one is core DNS, mini etcd, API server. Okay, a core DNS, which means like it will give the DNS resolver. Okay, Kubernetes itself DNS resolver. Okay, then etcd database, Kubernetes itself database, etcd database. API server, this is the heart of, you can, this is the CPU of the Kubernetes. Okay, this is the main thing, API server. It is running, everything is in containerize. Control manager, like it will manage, control the Kubernetes nodes and pods. Okay, proxy, it will give the proxy to the Kubernetes. Scheduler, it will schedule the pod or any resource on a specific node. It will decide the pod should schedule on which node. Okay, storage provisioner, like it will be give the storage to the resources. Okay, if you want to see like this is the running, if it is not running, so then your cluster is not stable. To make sure like your cluster is stable or not, so you can check it should be running up and running fine every time. Okay, if you see this is the one by one, it means we have one container and one container is running, one container is total, one container is fine, and it is running, and 91 second ago it got created, and there is no restart. It means your cluster is up and running fine without any issue. Clear? So this is the just a brief about Kubernetes. Okay, so I will create a pod here, because very smallest unit is pod, right? Very smallest unit is pod here. So first of all I will create one pod. How to play with Kubernetes? So this is a very smallest unit here. Okay, this is the document, official documentation. I will share in the group as well. Okay, here you can check any. So this is the YAML format, right? This is the YAML format. Like if you want to create any pod, deployment set, daemon set, replica set, okay, any service, node groups, anything you want to create in Kubernetes, so it is having the itself YAML file. Okay, here you will change the values like what is the name of your pod. Here you will define, and pod is having the image, nginx version, container pod, and kind is pod. I will explain later. 1 second, let me create the pod. So you can create any pod 1 2 3, ठीक है, pod 1 यहाँ पे कुछ भी दे सकते हो. Here I paste here. So first of all, this is the API version. You cannot change this one. This is the hard coded. Then we have a kind. इसको थोड़ा सा लिख लेता हूँ यहाँ पे. अगर थोड़ा फास्ट हूँ, so then you can ask your queries. So first of all guys, API version, this is the version of pod. Okay, API version, you cannot change this one. And now this one is a kind means what you want to create. I want to create the pod. If you want to create a deployment, okay, if you want to create the replica set, here I want to create pod, so here I will define here pod. Okay, this is the kind what you want to create. Metadata means like what is the name. Okay, what is the name of the pod you want to create here. So name here is nginx. Here I will give now 1 2 3. So pod name will be 1 2 3, app 1 2 3. Then specification, like क्या करने की specification है, containers, because pod consist multiple containers or one containers. ठीक है. So here containers, उस कंटेनर में कंटेनर का नेम क्या होगा, व्हाट इज द नेम ऑफ द कंटेनर. ओके, हियर यू कैन डिफाइन 1 2 3 4 जो भी देना चाहते हो. रैंडम नेम. इमेज, द कंटेनर विल बी क्रिएटेड बाय Nginx 1.4 1.4.2 version. If you want to take the latest version, you can give here latest or it itself. Container port, what is the port you want to open for your container? Okay, so it is all about YAML file. If you are able to understand what is API version, what is a kind, what is a name means name of the pod, containers here, container name, container image, container ports. Straightforward है कुछ इससे nothing else. Okay, so I will use this JSON, sorry, YAML format. So it will create a pod of app123. हाँ बताओ, कोई क्वेश्चन था किसी का?
Um, Anshul, what is this container port? 80, will it expose that port or?
Yes.
Okay. So the container inside the pod will expose port 80 and we have to open the same port in the security group, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I will copy. I will delete this one and I have modified on my own. Okay. So container pod name would be 123 and pod is having the containers engines 1 2 3 4 5. Very simple है, इसमें कुछ ऐसा नहीं है, very simple. ठीक है, so I have pod1.yaml. इसका YAML you can also write YAML or you can also give YML because this is a YAML format. qctl -f. So this is the command to create any resource. kubectl apply -f pod1.yaml. If you see that pod का नेम क्या है, what is the name of pod? app123 created. kubectl get what? So this is a command to get the pod. How many pods are running in my cluster in default? Okay, so it is container is creating and the pod name is app123. If you see that in this pod I have one container, total container is 1 and running container is 0. I can also write here 0 olic 1 is running okay. Now if you see that it is running, ठीक है. So here qctl describe pod app123. So this is the command, okay, to describe any pod, like what is the details of the pod, and this will show you the logs as well, events, what is happening in this pod in real time. सबसे पहले it created a app123 and the pulling the image of nginx. Okay, successfully pulled image nginx in 8.5 second. Created container, started container. Okay, so here this is the description of any pod. Name, namespace. What is the namespace guys? Namespace होता है ठीक है. नेम स्पेस एक डिपार्टमेंट, इट्स लाइक अ सेक्शन और डिपार्टमेंट which is isolated from each other. Okay, like name is been like in a bank you have the cash counter, you have a cash counter, or you have a manager cabin. We have multiple cabins, right? So you can consider this same namespace. How many namespace I have right now? Namespace को you can shortcut in ns, means namespace. kubectl get namespace. This is the command to get all the namespace. ns मतलब namespace. Default namespace, cube node lease, cube public, cube system. Kubernetes component will be here. This is the default namespace. Get hot and hyphen. Okay. If we don't mention here and hyphen and default, so by default it is a default namespace. App 123. ठीक है. एक और देखते हैं डिप्लॉय. pod में इसमें इसमें there is nothing much in pod, right? Okay, I have explained all the things in pod. What can be possible? This is a very straightforward pod. This is a single pod. Okay, but in the real time we don't use the pod, we will use a deployment set. Deployment set is a collection of multiple pods. pod में इतना ही है. ये मेन होता है. Let me copy this one, then I will explain you this one. कोई doubt हो, you can ask me if you have any doubt. First of all, API version. This is a hard code. Okay. Then kind, what you want to create? I want to create a deployment set. Deployment. Okay. Collection of pods. If you want to create the 10 pods, 15 pods, okay, so you will use deployment. Okay, then what do you want to create? I want to create a deployment. Then wait the details of the deployment. What is the name of deployment? This is the name of deployment, Nginx deployment. 1 2 3 4 5 कुछ भी डाल सकते हो. Okay, then label. What is label? Label is like if you have like 15 deployment. 15 deployment. In each deployment you have 10 pods. So then you have 150 pods. So how to filter? Okay, how to filter? If you use fuel or color red. Okay, so if I use the red color is equal to red, how many pods belongs to color is equal to red? Okay, so then it will show me the pod which is having the label of color is equal to red. So like I have 150 pods. Okay, I want to get all the pods which is the part of this deployment set. Okay, then label will help me. I can filter color is equal to red, how many pods to belong color is equal to red. So this will show me the pods of this deployment. Okay, you can give any label. Specification, how many pods you want to create? I want to create like 5 pods. Okay, then selector match labels. Okay, it should be same with this one always, label and match label always same. It's your choice what you want to give for filter. कुछ भी दे सकते हो, कलर रेड, ब्लू, ग्रीन, एव 1 2 3, जो मन करे कुछ भी. ओके, मैच लेबल्स एंड देन टेम्पलेट. ठीक है, टेम्पलेट देन मेटाडाटा लेबल ऐप. ये भी इट शुड बी द सेम. कलर क्या है, रेड. ठीक है, देन स्पेक. ठीक है, ये हो गया आपका कंटेनर. कंटेनर की स्पेसिफिकेशन, कंटेनर स्पेसिफिकेशन, because pod will be created by containers. The what is the name of container? Nginx, and the version it would be the Nginx latest version. ठीक है, so I will copy this one. I have modified as per my requirement. It is very simple, very simple. This is a like English, simple English.
Anshul,
हाँ.
here you have given the match label color red, right? And
Hmm.
under template also you have given color red. So what's the point of giving it twice? Because under spec, first you have given replicas and second is selector and template. Both selector and template are having just labels, nothing else. So
Hmm.
what's the significance of selector and what's the significance of template? Why do we use it? Just to give the labels or something else also?
Yeah, good question. So there is a very significant difference. Like selector, suppose that like you have 10 pods. Okay, then how deployment will identify which is belong to this deployment? So it will select with the help of match labels. Like let me clear it very. So for that I have pod 1, pod 2, pod 3, pod 4. Okay, that is enough. Okay, then this is having color red, color red, color red, color red. Okay, this is the deployment of color is equal to red. Suppose that if this one is deleted, this one is deleted. Okay, so it will not able to identify like which one is deleted. So it will identify with the help of selector. Selector will select the, like suppose that some user came and he manually created pod 5 again with the color is equal to red. Okay, but we have given the replicas of 5. replica चलो उसे 4 ही कर लेते हैं. ठीक है, I have given replica 4. So deployment will manage the pod 4 of color is equal to red. But now user came and manually created this one. So what deployment will do? Deployment will delete one of them. जो भी पुराना नया होगा उसको डिलीट कर देगा. तो ये automatically it will delete automatically. So selector, so deployment will select which is part of their deployment with the help of selector. ये selector काम होता है कि it will deployment will select identify their pod.
Yeah. Okay, then why we are giving under metadata also label?
Hmm. ये वाला
Yes. Yeah.
ये वाला इसलिए you this is a label because you will able to filter it out on your own.
Okay. Okay. And what about template under that metadata?
Yeah, template is for container, because we have a blueprint. Of the blueprint, you will create the container.
Okay.
Container will be created with the help of template. Template is just like a blueprint.
Okay.
It is just like
Got
a.
it.
Okay. So सबसे पहले ये हो गया, this is a color is equal to red. This label is for the deployment, like you can filter it out from your own. ठीक है. Then the selector is a deployment will identify their pod which belongs to their pod. Then template, this is a blueprint. With the help of template, this is like a blueprint. A container will use template. Both are slightly different, but there is a very big difference here. Nothing else. Okay, काफी clear.
Yes. Yeah.
अभी बाकी धीरे धीरे प्रैक्टिकल करेंगे, बाकी धीरे समझ आ जाएगा. वी विल डू मच प्रैक्टिकल, सो यू विल बी, इट विल क्लियर आउट,
Okay.
or you will do some your own, you will also get difference, but this is only
Okay.
difference here. So it will create the four pods of label, color is equal to that, name of for deployment is, yeah. Get deploy. Okay, so here for total number of pods is 4, running 2. Okay, 4 pod is created, running. So if I will delete any one of them, if I will delete any of them, so deployment will try to manage 4 replicas. So what I will do, any guess, like if I will delete any one of them, so what it will do, any idea? बताओ गाइस, कॉन्सेप्ट क्लियर है? मतलब अगर मैं एक डिलीट करूंगा, क्या होगा फिर?
It will create another one
वाई?
because it has to maintain four replicas.
राइट, दैट इज ट्रू. बिकॉज इस वैल्यू क्या सेट है, वैल्यू सेट है, हमने उसमें लिखा हुआ है, वैल्यू सेट कर रखी है हमने 4. सो ये हमेशा 4 को कंसिडर करके चलेगा हर बार. If I will create a one pod manually with the help of color is equal to red, say it will also delete one pod. You will not be able to create. So because that will come into the deployment section, this deployment, and it will try to maintain the full replica. You will not able to create.
Anshul, how can we create manually a pod? That first method is it?
Sorry,
How will you create a pod manually
manually.
using, yeah, using the first method, right?
Yes.
Okay.
इसके अलावा pod create करने का एक तरीका होती है, qctl run my test pod. Okay, hyphen image nginx. This is CLI method, but in the real time you will use the YAML file, because that is a more customization. Here you will not able to give them much more customization, but here you have lot of parameters you can define.
Yeah, you can't create the label, right?
Yes. qctl get pods. But this method is very effective where you can define in a systematic way and do you can do all things. So like for that you want to create the namespace qctl create ns new. So I created new namespace, new name से new is there, right? If I want to create one pod in this namespace, वही क्या है यहाँ पर? ओके नो रिसोर्स फाउंड, अभी इसमें कुछ नहीं है. डिफॉल्ट में we have lot of, right? In the new namespace I don't have any resource. If I want to create in this namespace, so there ये कोई significant name नहीं है, मैं significant name देता हूँ इसको broad namespace production. Okay, अभी प्रोडक्शन में कोई भी I don't have any resource in production namespace. I want to create a one deployment open pod in prod namespace. So how to create? अलग से इसको ये कर लो pod 1. Okay, here I will give here new parameter that is namespace prod. So what it will do? बताओ गाइस क्या होगा इससे, इसे मैं चलाऊंगा तो क्या होगा? What it will do?
It will create a pod in production namespace.
ठीक है, तो कर रहा हूँ मैं. कुछ नहीं करना, मैं इतना ही करूँगा उसमें. ठीक है, क्रिएटेड हो गया. इट इज क्रिएटेड prod namespace, राइट? prod namespace में आई हैव क्रिएटेड वन pod. वेरी डिफॉल्ट में नहीं होगा, डिफॉल्ट में नहीं है ना, इट इज नॉट इन डिफॉल्ट, इट इज इन prod namespace. देयर इज अनदर वे. हाँ पूछो, क्या नाम है? काव्या.
Yeah, actually, I just wanted to know that pod, if we use kind equal to pod, we are just creating individual pods. And if I use kind equal to deployment, then we are creating multiple replicas. That's the difference, right?
यस यस यस.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Pod means single unit. Deployment you can create multiple replicas. So there is another way, like if I will not define here namespace, I will not give the parameter namespace prod, and I want to create this deployment is prod namespace. So there is another way, qctl apply -f deployment -n, like the -n prod. So क्या होगा? बताओ क्या होगा इससे? If I fire this command, what will happen? बताओ काव्या.
It will create replicas in prod namespace.
Yes, it will create replicas in prod namespace. ठीक है, it is creating, right, in the prod namespace. ठीक है, इतना रखते हैं आज के लिए. कल आगे के कंपोनेंट देखते हैं. replica set, diamond set, services, many more things. So okay, अभी तक any doubt? कोमल, उज्जवल.
Have you already explained services and all?
No.
Okay, okay.
Ujjwal, Komal, your response. Ujjwal, Komal, are you there? ठीक है गाइस, सब कुछ क्लियर है तो हाँ काव्या बताओ.
Nothing. Actually.
Okay. So now if it is clear, so then we are going to drop off this call and we will come and meet in another call in same time or 9
Thank
p.m.
you.
sorry. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Bye. Good night.
Okay. Very good night.